Okay, after that little false start there, I am back with a vengeance, and I am ready to actually stream some Final Fantasy like I said I was going to do earlier. So, anyway, I had to replay everything because apparently my emulator just will never work ever in the history of time. And so I played through everything, made it through the ice cave, and I did much better this time. All of my people are alive, so that's great. Everyone survived the ice cave. I've got my floater. Here we go. Let's do this thing. So yes, respawn rate 6. It's very important. I want the text to go by fast, but not too fast. Too fast is too much. So here's my crew. We're all here. We just left the ice cave. Here's what I got going on. I've got 100,000 gold. I'm crushing it in the gold department. I'm still going to be cheap as fuck when it comes to gold, but I've got that much gold. Everyone's at level 14. The only person that's still behind on experience points, I think, is Puff, because he got turned to stone. Yeah, he's a little bit behind. Not too much. He died at the very beginning of the game and then got turned to stone in the ice cave. So, other than that, we're in pretty good shape. Here's what we got for weapons. Oh shit, I never equipped that. He's got an ice sword, you got a couple of silver swords. And then as far as armor's concerned, you can see ice armor and ice shield, silver gauntlet, silver helmet for the first one, iron gear for the second guy, and then of course you got the best stuff you can have on your other two peeps. I need to sell that iron armor when I get to the store, but obviously we'll get there. But yeah, so we are heading back. We got the floater out of the ice cave, and now we're going to get the airship, and we'll open the whole world up to ourselves by having an airship. It's going to be amazing. Right now I'm drinking iced coffee out of my Witch cup. Witch. It is a sandwich shop here in Atlanta. I don't know if there's anywhere else but Atlanta, but basically I have like a million of these cups, and that's what I drink all my liquids out of. All my beverages. So iced coffee is what I have going on now. I usually just drink it black iced coffee. It's tasty. Alright, so fishy fishes, or Caribs, whatever that is. I have no idea what that means. It's probably Japanese for fish or something. But they are usually weak to lightning. You would think most of the things in the river area would be weak to lightning, but that is not the case. If I run into Ochos or Hydras, they are not weak to lightning. They just whatever. Lightning does whatever kind of damage, normal amounts of damage. So here we go. We got Hydras. They hit pretty hard, but as long as they hit the top guy, I'll be pretty safe because he, of course, has the best armor he can wear right now, at least for the time being. We're going to go somewhere else and get better armor here in just a moment, actually. That's the next thing we're going to do, is do some stuff. That's the thing we're going to do, is do things. So yeah. But yeah, I had much better luck playing through the ice cave this time around than I did on my live stream 2 days ago on Monday night. I didn't run into any mages this time around, and I only ran into one sorcerer, and I was able to run away from that battle. So it made me very happy. So right now, I mean, you can see, like, Puff and Owen, my two fighters, I mean, they are just dishing out serious damage. Jay, my red mage, his damage output just is not where it needs to be anymore, which is why he's just pretty much been relegated to the guy that's going to be using all the magic items. So he'll heal us up if we need it. He'll use these gauntlets when we need it. But for the most part, my black belt and my two fighters are going to be putting out some serious damage. Good lord, 330. That's a lot. That's awesome. 242. Let's see if He'll at least get an attack off my black belt. 116. So he's not... I mean, I think if he had gotten all 4 hits in, he would have probably done pretty equivalent damage to the other guys. I don't know why I didn't just save. Not that my save files are working on my emulator right now, but whatever. So I'm just going to be using save states because the save states actually work. I can see where the save state files are. So that's what I'm just going to have to start using. So that I don't ever run into this issue again. Which is crazy. And my save files, or my files aren't saving right. Alright, so here you go. You take the ship over here. You go into this little desert area. You go to your items. You select the floater. And the airship begins to rise from the desert. Yay, yay, yay. Here we go. Boom. Isn't that music? It's my dance to that song. Alright. So we'll head over to Canaria. We will sell off things we don't need. Because I'm still going to be stingy about my money. Still going to... You would think, like, really? Like, at this point, you got 100,000 gold. Why are you being so stingy? Oh, trust me, you'll see why. Because I'm actually about to, spend 50 grand of this on something. Which we'll get to. Like I said, we'll get to here in a second. I'll show you. Plus, there's still lots of items and shit that I have to buy. I think. There's some stuff I can buy. Obviously... I've got to buy all these hills. I'm going to apologize ahead of time, but I can't fucking stand doing this slow, so I am speeding up the emulator. That is a good sound. Listen to that. That is an exquisite sound. Alright, cool. Oh, that was... that was only a little bit of torture. And then I'll buy my tent slowly. In case you ever wanted to know what the music in this game sounded like, sped up 1600%. It sounds like that. Sounds really good. Almost as good as the music from Winter Games, right? Let's see here. That's enough. I used a soft. Nah. Alright, we're good. How about my Black Mage? Should I get... I'll go on ahead and get a little level 5 spells while I'm here. While I'm on this side of the world, even though I still can't use them. Alright, save the game. Well, heal up. Because obviously saving isn't really working for me. And then we will head to Melmond real quick to pick up those level 5 spells that I don't have yet. And then we'll move on to the other parts of this game. Now, right now, I could go and I could fight the Fire Fiend, but I'm not gonna bother. I'll do it later. It's not something that's like a pressing matter. Get that, and I'll pick up Cure 3. Not that that really matters, but may as well. I don't think he can use he can ever use the life spell. I don't know for sure. He may be able to use life spell once I do the class change, which I'll do in a little bit. I'm not going to do it right away. There's no real... well, no, I guess I may as well do it now. The only reason why I was worried about doing the class change is because it kind of messes up the fighter... Fuck these guys. These guys hit way fucking hard. And they're going to murder Jay. What are the odds? What are the odds that those two would attack that guy? Well, 1 in 8 times 2. So 1 in 16 chance that both would attack that particular guy. Can't really do anything about bringing him back to life, at least not for now. So we'll just head into these little areas, pick up some treasure. So this area that I'm on right now is called the Corderia Islands, I'm pretty sure is what they are. This is where dragons live. Dragons live here. They're the nice kind of dragons, not the kind of dragons we've been running into like in other places. Right, I'm gonna take off from here for a second. Let me fucking bring my red mage back to life. Fucking game. I mean, that's just crazy. That's already a hard enough battle, like to actually fight. But to get a monster strike first and for both of them to attack one of the guys in the back row, it's ridiculous. Alright. Got my red mage back. That's a good sound. You'll see a little save state thing happen at the bottom left hand of the screen every now and then. That's just me making sure that I save the game when I need to be saving the game. I don't plan on using save states like to progress through the game. The only reason why I'm using save states is because, like I said earlier, my computer's having a hard time saving the game when I want it to. So this island has nothing in it. This one does. Traverse all this swampland. There's like a couple of items down here. These are the dragons I was talking about. They're nice dragons. You can talk to them. Castle of Ordeals. That's where you find out about, things. I don't know if you're supposed to know to go to the Castle of Ordeals until after you get the airship. I think that's what you're supposed to do. Like, the way the game is designed, you're supposed to do... or the way the storyline goes anyway, you're supposed to go to the... Get the fuck out of my way, dragon. You're supposed to go to the Gurguru Volcano first, where Carrie is, the Fire Fiend. Then you're supposed to go to the Ice Cave after that. And then you come to the Castle of Ordeals and then do the whole class change or whatever. Obviously, I didn't do it that way. I'm doing it a different way. I'm doing it my way. Alright, so these fucking things hit pretty hard. Good lord. I don't know if I should be even fighting these battles. I say that, and then he does some pretty serious damage to that guy, so I'm pretty happy about that. Huh. Let me set up a little bit. Guess we'll all just attack. I think Jay will do a little bit more damage than just using his lightning too, but well, we'll never find out because the fucking battle's over. Man, that was a crazy random encounter right there, man. Lots of damage was had by everybody. Get everybody back where they belong. Okay, this is where the class change is. I think it's this top room here. Or top hole. So you just hop in here. Nope, this is not the one. It was the bottom one. God damn it, Greg. Get your life together. You've only played this game like 1 billion times. Alright, so you head down this way, this long, ridiculous hallway. Head down here, you head up here. Now, contrary to popular belief, the class change actually doesn't do anything. It doesn't increase your stats. The only thing it does is it, for your mages, it lets you use better magic, or lets you equip better magic, and for your fighters and ninjas, or thief and stuff, it lets you equip better armor and weapons. So as you can see, that's what you look like after the class change. Now, I want to say the class change is bugged for the black belt. I think that the black belt actually is a hindrance, but like I said, I'm about to move on to a part of the game where I'm certain that the armors that I'm about to get are only equipable by knights, not fighters. So I have to do the class change. And then, like I said before, the red mage can use better magic spells as a red wizard, so it's good for my crew overall, even if it kind of doesn't help out my black belt much. All right, so anyways, we're done here. Next place we go to is this desert right here. That little spot in the middle is the oasis, which you buy an item called, Anklos. These guys have really high armor. They're just not worth fighting. Not at the level that we're at. But yes, so here you hop in here. The only thing that's available is something called a bottle, which is 50 grand. You get the bottle, you use it, pop, a fairy appears, and then it's gone. And you're like, huh, what the fuck was the point of that? Well, we'll find out right now. We've got to go now head to the city of Gaia, which is in the mountains above the Mirage Tower. So you head into this city. This city sells level 7 magic spells, which the only level 7 spell my red mage can use is Ice 3. So it's nothing I really have to worry about. Couple of armor upgrades that are kind of important, and I may as well pick up. The Pro Ring, I'm going to get one of these right now. It is the best gauntlet in the game, and every character can use it. One of the few things it can actually do is... Did I not get the fucking thing? Oh, I guess I tried to equip it on somebody who couldn't carry it. Good lord, Greg. There we go. The one thing that the Pro Ring does is it actually protects against instant kills spells. So spells like Rub and XXX and all that stuff, you can no longer die on their spells. Now, that doesn't stop those fucking stupid-ass sorcerers from just outright murdering you with one hit, but it can stop Rub and stuff like that from working. The other item there, as you can see, is a gold bracelet, but I'm going to actually get a better bracelet in the next dungeon, or not the next dungeon, but the following dungeon that I'm going to. Alright, so Gaia, you just head up this way. You head over here. Fucking typical Final Fantasy bullshit. You've got to, like, traverse an entire town just to do something simple. So there's your fairy. You talk to the fairy. That pirate trapped me in the bottle, blah, blah, stuff and things. Draw Axiel. Axiel, that they draw from the bottom of the river, that lake river thing that I was just in front of. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to save, or I need to hit the N up first before we leave. Jesus Christ, Greg, what the fuck are you talking about? Actually, I'm going to pick up another Pro Ring while I'm here, since I've got the money to do it. There we go. Now, I get 2 Pro Rings later on in the game, but like much later, so it's just better for me to go on ahead and just buy them. And then we'll hop into the N and save the game. And of course, give everybody, you know, magic and full experience, or full HP and all that stuff. Full hit points. So the Axiel is apparently something that can help you breathe underwater, because we're going to go to the water palace here in just a second, and it's obviously underwater, and we need the Axiel to breathe under in the water, which is a little strange, but whatever. I don't know why I didn't use lightning there. It's all good. But even before we go to the water palace, we have one other area we're going to go to. It is which obviously I'll point out once we get there. It's an area of the game, it's like, well, it's not optional, you have to go there, but you wouldn't really know to go there, and because the NPCs kind of don't really tell you much of anything about this place. They just tell you that something came out of the sky and landed near this waterfall, That's about it. So, chance to strike first, yay. So yeah, I should be able to stream at least for another like maybe 45 minutes or so, because I'm gonna eventually have to wake my son up, and then I'm going to have to pick up my daughter from school, and then I have to go get my paycheck from my trivia job, which I host trivia one night a week, which is Wednesday nights, tonight. So I host trivia at a little divey bar in my area of town in Marietta, which is a suburb of Atlanta in Georgia. You may wonder to yourself, man, you don't have like a southern accent. And I would have to say, man, not all southerners have southern accents. Maybe some of the people that live like out in the country do. Not so much me. I live in the city, the big city, city of Atlanta. Or at least that's where I grew up. Technically, I kind of grew up all over. My mom moved around a lot when I was a kid, so I was born in New Orleans, and I lived in Atlanta for a long time. I lived in New Orleans for a long time. I lived in parts of North Carolina for short stints of time, and I lived in Texas as well for like a few months. But for the most part, where I've lived most of my life was Atlanta, Georgia. Man, this battle is taking way longer than it needs to take right now. That's all good. Hopefully I can kill these gators since they fucking hit so hard. Good lord, they hit hard. Man, my fighters, they don't fuck around. Black Belt could do better damage if he really wanted to. He could do better damage. But he'll keep doing better and better damage as he levels up. That's the good thing about the Black Belt is their damage output, just goes up and up and up with every level. It's pretty incredible. Man, this is a bad battle here too. Those frost gators are even worse than their regular gator counterparts. And that's pretty serious damage to Puff considering he has like some really awesome armor on right now. It's all good. This should end this fight, hopefully. Well, this will definitely end this fight. There we go. Alright, so basically you take your canoe up north, use a tent, and then you just sail right into that waterfall. And then you're in this dungeon. It is a one-floor dungeon. It's just basically a big maze. So we just maze it up until we get to the end of it. And we'll get an item once we get to the end of this place. I'll just use heal since mud golems are pretty much resistant to all magic. So I may as well just heal up. Or not. Battle went really well. There's fucking bats in here that won't get the fuck out of my way. Now later on I will start getting more items that will do different magic spells. In the next dungeon actually has like pretty much most of some of the more useful things I can get in this game. Like as far as armor and weapons and stuff like that. Man, those Lightning 2s were drawing some low-ass fucking damage. Good lord. Back in the day when your character would fall asleep, but even if they got hit by a physical attack, they would still stay asleep. That never happened. Or that's not the way Final Fantasies work anymore. You put somebody to sleep, you don't hit them with physical attacks in later Final Fantasies. But yeah, like I said earlier, I should get like another 40 minutes of streaming. My son went down for a nap like right at 12. It was like right before 12. And obviously at 12, that's when I found out that my save didn't save, and that was fucking annoying. I shouldn't have to deal with this. You know what I mean? Should not have to deal with this. But at least thanks to emulators, I'm able to get through the game pretty quickly when I need to, using the emulation speed, moving it up. But yeah, these nightmares, they're weak to ice, so just an ice 2 should do the trick here. They have pretty high evade, which is why they don't take as much damage as some of the other enemies you've seen me fight. And everyone's level 15. That's great news. But eventually we will make it through to the end of this dungeon. And then we will get the items that we need. Which I don't want to spoil the game. I'll wait until we get there. And then you will see the items. Yeah. So heal, when you use the heal staff as an item in battle, it uses heal 1, which is a magic spell he can't even get. Only white mages can use it. And it essentially gives you like, I don't know, between like 10 and 25 hit points back curative spell for every character, which, you know, isn't much, but it adds up for sure, you know. Definitely good to do. It's essentially using 4 heal bottles in battle, so pretty awesome. And anything that's free makes me happy, as you probably can tell from my previous streams. I'm very cheap when it comes to things in this game. You need all the money you can get, because it's easy to blow through all your money in this game. Plus, I can show you that fighters really aren't like as expensive as one would say. I mean, as of right now, this is a trap tile, by the way. That tile is always trapped, and it's always this battle. Now, normally I would just use the Zeus Gauntlet, but I'm going to go on ahead and crack off a fire too. Just because I want this battle to end a little bit quicker than just using Zeus Gauntlets. Plus, there's so many wizard mummies. Pretty low roll on damage there. Cockatrices only have like 50 hit points or something like that, but they're pretty dangerous. They can turn your characters to stone. Should do him in, and if Owen gets an attack off, that should do him in. So that's pretty much it there. I'll just go ahead and use a heal, because why the hell not? While he goes all punchy on that wizard mummy. And he goes all slashy on that wizard mummy. Alright. So this room here, good lord. Fucking A. I guess I was supposed to get a random encounter, but since I ended up on that trap tile, it like kind of bumped it over to the next tile. That's why I got 2 back-to-back random encounters like that. I'm not really sure. Now if the mud golems using that spell fast is pretty bad. They can do that kind of damage to you, because that means they can get more hits off than normal, which is crazy. He'll be dead anyway. Not that concerned. I do have to heal up my fighter though, because he took a lot of damage just then. Everybody else is good. So yes, you've got Wizard Staff, useless. Ribbon, best helmet armor in the game. And the reason why I say that is because it resists against... What does it resist against? It resists against all elemental magic. So basically any elemental magic, poison, fire, ice, lightning, any of that stuff, it'll do a quarter damage. So it's by far the best helmet armor in the game. You talk to this robot here, he gives you a cube which gets you into the floating castle. So you have to come in here regardless of whether you want these items or not. And then last but not least, you get the defense sword, which is better. It is an upgrade from the ice sword. So I'll move the ice sword to him. Do this, do that, and we're good. Defense sword also does if you use it as an item, it does a spell called Ruse, which is a white mage only spell, which increases your evade, which is also very nice. Basically, if you use, and it can be compounded, so if you use the defense sword on yourself twice, you pretty much cannot get hit at all. Like, your evade is so high, nothing can touch you unless they get a critical attack, which ignores evade and armor, or absorb in this game. Great. Doing some... That Fire 2 is doing some pretty serious damage. That's always good. So as you can see, even though the red mage right now, like, you know, his strength isn't high, he's starting to run out of magic spells. I mean, he's still very useful as far as like being able to use the spells that he has, and they still do lots of damage to these enemies later on in the game. Fire 3, Lightning 3, and Ice 3 really aren't much of an upgrade to Fire 2, or to the 2 spells. You know, because of the way the magic works, like how it's like, it basically draws a number between like a number and another number. It's so specific. You know, you can use a Fire 3 and do just as much damage if you had used a Fire 2 spell, is what I'm trying to say. It's not like the later Final Fantasies where there's a different damage formula, and Fire, you know, 3 is much more of an upgrade to Fire 2. And it's obvious. In this game, it's not so much. So Fire 2, as long as you're... Or Fire 2, Lightning 2, Ice 2, as long as the enemies don't have elemental resistances, they're still going to be relatively useful. Now, you know, later on when you fight like the other elemental fiends, like Tiamat has no elemental resistance, or is resistant to all elementals, so it's totally worthless to use any of those spells at all, including the level 3 spells like the Ice 3 and Fire 3 and Lightning 3 and stuff like that. So, but that's neither here nor there, right? The only other elemental fiend right now that has any sort of elemental weakness is the Kraken, which these fucking things. Alright, these Paralisk, these guys can kill you with a move called Squint, so I'm just going to run from them. I think they're weak to ice, but I'm just going to get out of this battle before bad things start happening. I don't think... They should not be able to kill Puff or Owen. Yeah, because of the... because of that pro ring I picked up earlier, but that doesn't mean they won't try to do it on Jason or Sarge. Paralisks, you first run into them in the Gurgu Volcano, which is an area I could have gone to earlier, but I didn't. They don't have much in the way of hit points. I want to say they're like their other bird counterpart, the Cockatrices. I want to say they have like 50 hit points or something. And like I said, I want to say they're weak to ice, but I didn't really feel like fighting them. Might get some more coffee here in a little bit, since I just finished, since I'm pretty much almost done with this giant cup of coffee right here. Heal up. Well, good job wasting a round of combat, dude. So I don't even really talk much about the combat in this game. I used to know like more about like how the damage is formulated, like as far as the attacks and stuff. I want to say it's just straight up math, and then like, you know, you get a 1 in 3 chance of missing enemies, and you know, it's just straight up math, like whatever their absorb is. But I don't know how you determine your damage. It's obviously based on your strength and the damage output of your weapon plus your hit percentage, which I know that at every 32 hit percentage, like your hit percent is 32, you tack on another attack. If it gets up to 64, that's 3 attacks, so forth and so on. But again, I'm not really sure, like, I don't really know exactly, like, how your attack number original is formulated based on your strength, damage output, hit percentage, all that stuff. I just know that once that number comes up, then it's subtracted straight up from the, from whatever your enemy's absorb is, or whatever your absorb is when they're attacking you. And as you can see, I have collected tons of gold in here since I've been, you know, fighting all these random encounters. And it just only gets better once we get to the water shrine. The water palace shrine, whatever you want to call it, has pretty easy monsters. I mean, everything down there is pretty much weak to lightning, which the Zeus Gauntlet helps out with, obviously. And everything gives you, you know, pretty high experience and pretty high gold. So by the end, we should level up quite a bit while we're down there. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the whole area. I may. I probably will. I can't imagine why I wouldn't. Just go on ahead and do it. Since I'm going to be there anyway, may as well fight Kraken. He's pretty easy. The only thing you got to worry about with Kraken is his physical attack is pretty strong. Alright, so we are done here. Let's go on ahead and use a tent. Go on ahead and... What just happened there? Okay, wow. That scared me. It took a second to save the state, and I was like, ah, shit. My fucking computer's like just took a giant dump. But it didn't. So we're good. Everyone's just gonna gang up on that Frost Gator, because why the hell not? Fuck him. And he's dead. Good. And, so not too shabby of a battle there. That went as easy as that went as well as I had hoped. And we gained a level. See, I figured we'd gain a level. So we've gained 2 levels since we entered there. We went from 14 to 15 and now from 15 to 16. Which again, my black belt should be getting to the point where he's going to start doing even more damage than he already does. Yeah, once that number gets to 64, that hit percentage number gets to 64, he'll be doing 6 hits instead of 4 hits. And that's why, as you can see, that's over 64, which is why they're doing 3 hits instead of 2 hits. And once that number gets to, I guess, what, 90 fucking 6 or whatever, then they'll tack on a 4th hit. And those numbers, I don't think they change with level. Like, as far as damage, hit percentage, and all that stuff, that will not change. Even if their strength goes up, that number only changes with the equipment you have, or with what you have equipped. The only character in this game where that number changes based on level is your black belt. And that number changes with each level up. And like I said before, the damage is double your level for the black belt. So he's level 16, so his damage should be 32. You can see there. And right now his absorb is 16, which is actually his level right now, which is, I did not. Huh. That's interesting. Okay. Well, whatever. I can unequip him of everything, and he should have the exact same absorb, but with higher evade. Let me check that out real quick. No, his absorb is 17. Why did it say 16 earlier? Fuck, I'm like losing my mind over here. Alright. Once he gets to level 17, then I can unequip him of everything. Not that I would, because by then he'll have the gold armlet, or the gold bracelet as his equipment. Alright, so let's hit up the N, save the game, and then we will head on down to the Water Shrine, Water Palace, whatever you want to call it. Basically, now that we have the Oxio, we go over here, talk to this lady. She's like, hey, you can go down there, save the mermaids, whatever. And this is the Water Palace. The great thing about the Water Palace that I like a lot is that it's just easy. Like I said, everything's weak to lightning, and you can go to, you can pretty much just leave here, and there's an inn right there. There's no like land that you have to traverse or anything. After all that, you just leave the dungeon, and you're already in a town. You're already in a safe area, and you just fucking can save the game. It's pretty dope. Now, this dungeon, I wouldn't say it's huge, but it's pretty big. There's two main sections. It's kind of a much larger version of the Marsh Cave, because you can go up. When you get in the Sea Shrine, Sea Palace, Water Palace, whatever you want to call it. You start in the middle level. You actually start on level 3, and then you can go up 2 levels, which is where we're heading. You go up to the top level. To get, a ton of items, just like a massive amount of items. And then you can go down 2 levels to get to where the Kraken is, which is level 5. But you start on level 3 when you first get here, which is pretty weird. So yeah, we're gonna go up a level here. An armor upgrade, weapon upgrade, bunch of stuff is on this level. It's pretty cool. Main random encounter that I do worry about are these enemies called ghosts. They just hit really hard. They don't do anything else. They don't like do any magic or anything. They're just like their undead counterparts, like the wraiths and the images and stuff like that. But they just hit really hard. They have like a really high magic or physical attack for whatever reason. Couldn't tell you why. Some people think it's bugged or it was a mistake and that they should not hit as hard as they do. Who the fuck knows, right? Just heal up. Never hurts to stay high on your hit points. Well, it might have been a waste just because Jay and Sarge are already maxed out on hit points, but still helped out Puff and Owen, right? So this room here has the opal armor, which, of course. Let me just get rid of the things I don't need, which is this cap and this iron armor. Yeah, so opal armor, which I think later on is, in later iterations of this game, is diamond armor. But yeah, massive upgrade in absorb. As you can see, 68 absorb, that is like ridiculously high. Oh, and I forgot to mention this earlier about the class change. So your fighters, once they turn to knights, can actually use level 1, 2, and 3 level magic spells, white magic spells, that is, not red, not black magic spells. So these are the ghosts I was talking about here. Like I said, these guys just hit hard. That's their gimmick, is just they hit fucking hard as fuck. And they have lots of HP. I mean, look at that, 104. I mean, that's a lot to hit your fighter for, when other things are like gonna hit your fighter for like not even remotely that much. But luckily, just like all other undead monsters, they go down to fire pretty easily. That's still pretty low roll on damage for fire. Yeah, that's crazy. Alright, well, I'm just gonna have to hope that they don't attack Jay again. Alright. Should be good. This battle should end on this round of combat. I say that, but we'll see. Yeah. Perfect. And they seem to have pretty high armor stat too. I mean, I didn't seem to do as much damage in that attack as I probably should have. Let's heal up. I did not mean to heal him, I meant to heal Jay. There we go. I went the wrong fucking way, I think. I didn't go the wrong way, I just went the long way. I should have gone on the other side of the water in this room. Fucking A. But it's fine. Like I said, this dungeon's really easy. That battle with the ghosts is really the only like battle I'm concerned about running into, just because of how hard they hit. I mean, if all four of those ghosts concentrated their attack on the white mage, then that battle could have ended very easily or quickly. That light axe that I just picked up, it can be equipped by your fighters, but actually that is not what I'm going to do with it. It does a harm 2. If you use it as an item, it does harm 2, or in later iterations, holy 2, which is a white mage only spell, which targets only the undead. So that'll make fighting ghosts and undead monsters a little easier, because I'll keep it on somebody else, like a fighter, to use in case I run into hordes of undead. I can use harm 2. And this is your mage staff, which does fire 2. So I'll go ahead and trade that over to my red mage. That way he has the ability to use fire 2. Or endless castings of fire 2. Like, especially if I run into another set of ghosts. This battle, believe it or not, you cannot run away from. For whatever reason, the Wizard Sahagins, the yellow guy, you can't run away from them whenever they show up, so you have to fight this battle. I don't understand why, but that's just what happens. That's the thing with this battle. I do want to get up and get more coffee, but I also don't want to leave my sheet just here to look at my background, my beautiful background, and nothing really going on. I don't know why I had them all attack. I should have had Jay use heal, but it doesn't matter. The battle's over anyway. Now from this point on, or at least from here on, at least in this next room, I'm not going to really worry about selling things anymore, only because the armor that I have on right now, I wouldn't get much for selling it, and I'm getting so much gold from my battles and from all these treasure chests. So that opal armor there, that is the best armor. That's the best mail armor that my red mage can use. So I'll just switch this stuff around. Drop this silver armlet here. And yeah, that's the best thing. This is basically once I get the Thor's hammer and I can move the Zeus gauntlet to somebody else, and he gets the pro ring or whatever. Like, he'll have the best setup he can possibly have. But yeah, the opal armlet is the best is basically the best armor in anyone can use in this game aside from the knights. Knights can use better armor, but basically every other class that opal bracelet is the best armor in the game, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Like thief down through black mage, that's the best armor. Only fighters can equip better armor, which I'll find some better armor here in just a moment. Or not better armor, but other like shields and helmets and blah blah stuff and things. Whatever the fuck I'm talking about. At this point, I don't even know what I'm talking about. This area too, as you've probably noticed, doesn't have any random encounters. So that's pretty sweet. I can just go through here, get all the things I want, without having to worry about random encounters. Whew. And then just one more little area. You go all the way to the top left here. To get this to the last room, you just go left until I guess you go around the entire world. I'm not really sure how this works, but somehow you end up back on the left side or the right side of the screen. And then there's a few more treasure chests here, which I need to drop some stuff. I think it should be an opal helmet. Yep. And then an opal gauntlet, which the opal gauntlet is actually not as good as the pro ring, so I won't need it. And that leaves me with the slab. The slab teaches you a language. You take the slab back to Melmond, which is the city near the Earth Cave, and you take it to a NPC named Dr. Yoon, and Dr. Yoon will teach you a language called Lefinish, which once you learn Lefinish, you can go to the city of Lefine, and you can find out that they had 5 warriors that tried to stop blah blah stuff and things in this game, and they're actually the bats that live in the Temple of the Fiends, the very first dungeon you ever go to in the game. There's 5 bats that are in there, and you can actually talk to them once you learn Lefinish. But learning Lefinish basically means you go to Lefine, and you can talk to the people there, and they give you something called a chime, which lets you into the Mirage Tower. The cube lets you go from the Mirage Tower into the floating castle, which is the second half of the air dungeon. Pretty big dungeon, the combination of the two, because the Mirage Tower is 3 stories long, and then I want to say the air fortress is like 5 or 6 stories long. It's a pretty big area. It's not as big as the final dungeon, but it's definitely the second biggest. Those water elementals that I just fought, you can't run away from them either. And they're actually weak against ice, not lightning, which is why I used Ice 2 instead of Zeus Gauntlet. Man, that was a good hit, Sarge. It's weird that the regular sharks are down here just because they're like such early game enemies. I mean, they are like nowhere near as powerful as anything else down here. That's why I find it so strange that they are down here. Alright, so should be able to make it through the rest of this dungeon before I have to leave to go get my daughter. Depending on what my son does, what he's doing, as far as sleep is concerned for him. But first things first, I am going to leave here and save the game. Man, those are some low draws on that. Considering these things are weak to lightning, I'm a little surprised at how low those damage draws were. Whatever, I'll just heal up. It's always good to get that free healing in as well. And that's that. Ooh, we gained a level. There we go. So since we have gained 3 levels since we got into this part of the game. Like between the waterfall cave and now this water dungeon or water palace or whatever you want to call it. I mean, 3 levels, and I should probably gain at least 1 more level before we're even done in here. Alright, so let's go on ahead and save the game. Again, that's why I like this dungeon a lot. You can just leave, go straight to an inn, save the game, and then we can head back, and we will finish this dungeon up before my boy wakes up, and before I have to get Charlotte. So, back in here, back at it. I'm going ahead and save my state. So a lot of, obviously, as you can see, a lot of the battles down here are just me basically attacking with my white, or with my 2 knights and my black belt, and then using lightning 2 or the Zeus gauntlet with my red mage, and that's pretty much it. The only thing I did not do with my red mage is see if I could, or my red wizard, is to see if I could get the life spell. The life spell is pretty important, but obviously it's a little too late now to worry about that. So yeah, you go to the right at the first part of this dungeon to get to the top levels here, but once you go to the left, that gets you further down into the dungeon, to the bottom levels where the Kraken is. These lobsters are obviously a scorpion palette change, but they can also they can poison you, which is pretty strange considering they're fucking lobsters. Like, I'm not much in the way of a lobster connoisseur. I don't know much about them. I'm no zoologist or whatever. Seaologist, somebody that studies sea creatures. But I'm pretty sure lobsters aren't poisonous. I'm certain they're not. Alright, so this floor here. Let me go on ahead and use this lightning axe, or light axe, that does harm spell. And then I can use this mage, which does the fire 2 spell. So I've got 2 ways to do lots of damage to these undead ghost fuckers. Not ghost fuckers, fucking ghosts. I mean, they probably fuck ghosts too, for all I know, since they're ghosts. They probably fuck each other, I guess, I don't know. I don't really know much about ghost sex. I'm no, ghostologist or whatever. I don't really study ghosts, but... Anyways, what am I talking about? Oh yeah, so killed those guys. We're good there. Let's keep it moving. This area here does not have... All those rooms and stuff don't have any treasures in them, which is why I'm not bothering to look for treasures in them, because I know for a fact there's no treasures. And there you go, lobsters poisoning you. That had to have been a mistake. That had to have been a holdover from the scorpion. Like when they had it set up as scorpion, they were like, all right, we're going to change its stats up a little bit, give it some more HP, some more absorb, and we're not going to worry about getting rid of the poisoning aspect of it. Whatever. No one cares. There's not going to be a guy in Atlanta, Georgia in 31 years from now playing this game questioning the validity of scorpions poisoning people. Make sure we're all healed up after that ghost battle from earlier. Oh, we're good. See, their sprites change up a little bit too. They look so much more mature now, the sprites, after the class change. Alright, so you go up a floor, you go up another floor, so now we're actually on floor 2. So this is the same floor that we found, like the opal armor and the mage staff and the light axe. So it's the same level of the dungeon, just a different area of it, obviously. So you go down 1, you go up 2, and then we're about to go down 3 more, and then we'll be back on, and then we'll be down to the 5th level, the final area of this dungeon. If you know where you're going in this dungeon, it's a pretty small dungeon. I mean, it's not small in the layout's huge, but it's small if you know where you're going to get from point A to point B. The only other room, or the only room, level 4, the second part of level 4 that we're about to go to, has a bunch of treasures that we will be getting. Another light axe and another ribbon, which again, those are kind of important bits of armor. That ribbon, anyway, is. Alright. Head down here. This puts us back on, this is like the same level of the game that we entered the dungeon on, so this is floor 3. And then this is the second to last level of the dungeon. Which is probably the part of the dungeon or the level of the dungeon we'll spend the most time on, is just here, because we do have to go into a bunch of different rooms to get some treasures and stuff. But like I said, it's not like really that much treasure. It's like a ribbon. There's a power gauntlet that I'm going to pick up that I don't really need. Actually, I'm probably not going to pick it up because I don't need it. It doesn't do anything as an item, and I don't have any armor slots available for it. Man, that Zeus Gauntlet didn't do much damage to that one Red Sahagin. It's crazy. It's alright, he'll die in this next round of combat. I don't know why I did that. I meant to do heal, so I can heal up everybody. And there we go. And this is the part of it, like, just any part of the game when you're trying to, like, really get to somewhere and you really want to do it quickly, that's when, like, all the random encounters start getting annoying. You're like, fuck, come on, just, can I go, like, longer than, like, maybe 10 tiles without getting into a random encounter? But I need to fight the random encounters so I can level up, because I'm not going to grind in the game. And I'm going to have a hard time in the final dungeon if I'm not at least at, like, you know, low to mid-20s. What is that? Alright, so coming down to these bottom tiles here to get these treasure chests is better, because if I went to the left or right of them, there are trap tiles there, so that's why I hit the bottom of them. This room here, I think, has the power gauntlet, which is the thing I don't need. Alright, let's go on ahead and use my light axe, mage staff, and then attack with the other two guys on the other two ghosts. Man, that was a low roll for that. Man, and that's the thing, that right there is like the thing I don't understand about the way they set up magic in this game. Is like, how can the same magic spell do such vastly different damage to enemies. Like, how do you go from doing 42 damage to one enemy to 148 to the other enemy when they're the exact same enemy and it's the exact same spell? Anyways, that's just a rant. What do you want from me? Fucking A, I hate it when I accidentally waste heals like that. Okay. So yeah, power gauntlet's there. This room has the light axe, which is the thing I actually want. Both of these tiles are trapped, so just what it is. Now what's weird, again, man, and those lobsters hit hard too. Like, not only do the lobsters hit hard, but they also can poison you, but the sea snakes cannot poison you. Which again, they're a straight up palette switch from the asps from earlier in the game. Well, and the cobras too, which the cobras can't poison you, which I don't know what kind of drugs those crazy Japanese were on when they put this game together. They're Japanese people. Alright, let's get out of this battle. Let's heal up. These guys should be able to kill these snakes with one hit here. That's why I went on ahead and had Jay heal everybody up. Never hurts to get free healing. If that turn ever actually comes up, which it did not, obviously. Alright, so yes. Light axe, which I'll give to my other fighter. Just in case, again, I run into like a horde of undead, I can actually fuck them up pretty hard. I don't think that hordes of undead are a thing that I should have to worry about anymore. That was something that I had to worry about in the ice cave. There's that. Well, and I say that, and I run into a horde of undead. Look at this. So there we go. That was a good move there. So now I can use a couple of harm 2s and one fire 2. This battle should end pretty quickly. This should be it, unless I roll low on damage, which as you can see is a possibility. This is the ribbon, or no, this is the ribbon here, which I can't hold anymore, which means I have to throw something away. Drop that cap. And there's one more ribbon in the game, which is in the Air Palace, which obviously I'll get to later. Alright, and then the tile in the middle, like kind of in between all those treasure chests there, is trapped. I'm not going to bother going to that last treasure chest because it's just gold, and I don't really need it. Plus, I don't feel like fighting the same battle twice because I'll have to fight it once going in and then once coming back out. And that's it. This is the final area of this dungeon before we fight the Kraken. Come on! Alright, cool. Alright, lobsters. Motherfucking lobsters. I never thought I'd hate lobsters so much. But now I hate them. Looks like my boy's he's not moving around a little bit. Every time I look down, he's moved somewhat. I look down, I'm like, huh, he's moved a little bit. But then he doesn't move. He's just still asleep. He's moving around in his sleep, trying to find a comfortable space to be. By the way, I'm not much of a smoker, but it's pretty funny that my character's name is Puff, and his hit points are 420. That's pretty funny. Fuck, I went the wrong goddamn way. Motherfuckers. I don't want to waste anyone's time here by watching me go the wrong way and not know what I'm doing in this game. Man, that was a good hit. I won't let that happen again. I always seem to make that mistake whenever I come to this dungeon in this particular room, is I can never remember if I have to go left or if I have to go west or if I have to go north first before I eventually go west or north. It's just I never remember. Yeah. Let's heal up a little bit. That should get Puff and Owen back to full health. And then Sarge and Jade, just enough. I'm just floored by how much damage those things are doing to my bottom two guys. Just crazy. Alright, we're good there. Oh no, I was supposed to go that way. So I was supposed to go to the way that I went, the west, and then go north. Now I'm where I'm supposed to be, I think. I say that, and then I'm like, fuck, I don't know what's going on. Who the fuck knows? I'm probably lost. Look at that, 49, 100 and something, 130 something. What was that 49 roll? What's that 90 roll? These guys are weak to this stuff. It's just crazy. I don't get it. I don't understand you, Final Fantasy. I mean, I do, but I don't. Sometimes I don't get how you figure out your damage. No. I'll rather heal. Because these lobsters should go down in one hit. I say that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Punch him. Anybody ever see that, like... There's like a meme out there of like... You know, it's like you at level 1 or something in life. Like when you like having a hard time in life. And it shows like the big muscular guy and he's like beating up lobsters with his bare hands. That's what I can imagine my my black belt is doing right now as he beats up lobsters with his bare hands. He's just having a rough go at life, and he's got to beat up lobsters with his bare hands in order to level up in the early parts of the game. Alright, we're almost there, people. Almost there. We go through here. We go north. We go out that door to the west there. My god, more fucking random encounters. I can't even complain about the random encounters. That's the whole point of the game. But it does get annoying. So I guess I can complain about them. You know what? I'll do whatever I want to. This is my stream. If I'm going to complain about it, I'm going to complain. To the no one watching. Actually, I don't know. Is anyone watching? Anyone watching right now? Feel free to comment if you are watching. If anyone out there in the world is watching me play a 31-year-old role-playing game. Kill him. There you go. Alright. Should almost be done here. Ah! Speaking of which, I was like, man, I gotta be close to leveling up soon. So hopefully, the next random encounter will get me one more level, which, you know, can never hurt to level up in this game. That's still going from level 14 to 18. Oh. I was like, why isn't Owen in the right spot? That is because he got poisoned. Alright. So it should only be one more random encounter before the final boss, before I get to Kraken. Kraken's in that room right there. So yes, here's my last random encounter. Hopefully. I say that, and then somehow I'm gonna run into like 18 more random encounters between now and when I get to that door. Not too bad for damage on all those. I just wish they would have killed those lobsters instead of me having to actually fight them now. Or have them attack me, that is, and then risk getting poisoned like I just did. So much poisoning happening from these fucking lobsters. Lobsters. Ugh. So yeah, hopefully after this battle, Puff will gain a level. Which sucks, because he's got 420 hit points, which means if he gains a level, he's not going to have 420 hit points anymore. And then his Puff name won't make any sense. Ah, now he has 426 hit points. What the fuck? Alright. Let's heal up. Pure up. Get Owen back into his spot. And that is it. Here is the final boss, or not the final boss, but the boss of this dungeon, the Kraken. Alright, so he is weak to lightning, but first I've got to do some debuffs. I'm going to use my fast magic spell here on Puff so that he can get a good attack off. So I'm basically going to fast everybody, even though it obviously didn't matter that I did that because... you know what I should have done instead of that attack that I did? I should have done the defense sword. Since he is in the first slot, he's going to need as much evade as humanly possible, especially against those massively powerful physical attacks that Kraken does. But it's all good. Ink, totally worthless. It blinds you, but like I said before, I think that stat is bugged. As you can see, I still was able to get a hit off pretty easily. Alright, so that cranks his evade up a little bit. Now both of my guys, or my top two guys, can get more attacks in than they normally would. I'm going to go on ahead and do one more fast spell on my black belt, so he can also do the same. As you can see, he got 4 hits in, but didn't really do much change much in the way of damage he's going to do. As you can see, the damage went down tremendously on that particular thing because his evade was much higher. And then last but not least, I am going to use the Lit spell in case he decides to use Lightning 2, which he does. That is part of his spell repertoire. That should protect me from his Lightning 2 or Lightning 3 that he will use, that he may use at some point in this battle. Alright, that was not a bad draw on damage there. And we are done. Wow, that went by pretty quickly. He only has 800 hit points, but still, that went by pretty quickly. So we are done here. Go through there. And it exits you out of the fucking city for whatever reason. But I just go back into the city. Run down here. Hit up the end, save the game. And then I am going to be done with this stream because it is almost 2:15, which means I need to get my boy up and... Oh, actually, speaking of the devil, it looks like he's actually waking up right now. So I'll get him ready, and then I'll go get my daughter from school and do a bunch of stuff. So all the single people that watch this thing, thank you for paying attention to my stream. And have a wonderful night. Rest of your day, whatever they say. Have a good one. Thank you for watching. And we will be back probably tomorrow at noon.